5 Golden Age celebrities with complex hidden lives. Number 1 changed Hollywood forever. Behind the glamorous facade of Hollywood's golden age, many beloved stars lived remarkably complex lives. The studio system carefully controlled their public images, but historical records reveal stories far more intricate than audiences ever knew. Today, we're exploring 5 Golden Age celebrities whose private lives remained largely hidden during their careers. From documented struggles to lesser-known controversies, these stories offer a deeper understanding of Hollywood's most celebrated era. Stay with us as we examine historical accounts that shed new light on these legendary figures. The Golden Age of Hollywood, spanning roughly from the late 1920s through the early 1960s, created some of cinema's most enduring legends. Humphrey Bogart, Katharine Hepburn, James Stewart, Bette Davis. These weren't just actors. They were cultural icons who shaped American entertainment and influenced generations of performers. But the studio system that created these legends also controlled nearly every aspect of their lives. Major studios like MGM, Warner Brothers, and Paramount held binding contracts that dictated everything from their stage names to their public relationships. When personal challenges arose, stars often had to navigate them in secret, knowing that any hint of controversy could end their careers. Today, we're examining 5 documented stories that reveal the complex realities behind Hollywood's golden facade. These accounts, drawn from biographies, historical records, personal correspondence, and credible journalistic sources, show us that even the most celebrated stars faced challenges that required tremendous strength to overcome. These aren't sensational tales. They're important historical narratives that help us understand both the entertainment industry and the broader social context of mid-20th century America. Number 5. Danny Kaye, the entertainer's private world. Danny Kaye was one of Hollywood's most versatile entertainers. With his rapid-fire comedy routines, musical talents, and gift for physical comedy, he became a major star in films like The Secret Life of Walter Mitty, 1947, Hans Christian Andersen, 1952, and White Christmas, 1954. Born David Daniel Kaminsky in Brooklyn in 1911, Kaye rose from the Borscht Belt comedy circuit to international stardom. He was known for his warmth, his humanitarian work with UNICEF, and his ability to entertain audiences of all ages. But historical records and biographies reveal that Kaye's personal life was considerably more complex than his public image suggested. Kaye married lyricist and songwriter Sylvia Fine in 1940, and she became instrumental in shaping his career, writing much of his material and managing his professional life. They had one daughter, Dana, and remained married until Kaye's death in 1987. However, according to multiple biographies, including Martin Gottfried's Nobody's Fool, The Lives of Danny Kaye, their marriage was complicated by Kaye's struggles with his identity and several long-term relationships outside the marriage. Historical accounts document Kaye's close friendship with Sir Laurence Olivier, which began in the 1940s and lasted for decades. The nature of their relationship has been the subject of considerable historical discussion, with several biographers noting the intensity of their connection. Sylvia Fine reportedly knew about her husband's complex private life and, according to historical accounts, accepted it as part of their arrangement. This reflected a reality for many Hollywood marriages during the Golden Age public partnerships that allowed for private complexity. What makes Kaye's story historically significant is how it illustrates the pressures performers faced during an era when certain aspects of identity had to remain hidden to maintain careers. Kaye continued performing successfully while navigating these personal complexities, eventually becoming a beloved figure in American entertainment. His humanitarian work, particularly his role as UNICEF's first Goodwill Ambassador, earned him the Jean Hersholt Humanitarian Award in 1982 and helped improve the lives of children worldwide. Kaye died in 1987 at age 76, remembered as a gifted entertainer whose private challenges never diminished his professional legacy or his contributions to humanitarian causes. Number 4. Joan Fontaine and Olivia de Havilland. Hollywood's most famous sibling rivalry, the relationship between sisters Joan Fontaine and Olivia de Havilland remains one of Hollywood's most documented and complex family dynamics. Born in Tokyo to British parents, Olivia de Havilland, 1916-2020, and her younger sister Joan, born Joan de Beauvoir de Havilland in 1917, died 2013. Both became Academy Award-winning actresses, but their relationship was marked by documented tension that lasted their entire lives. Olivia arrived in Hollywood first, earning acclaim in films like Gone with the Wind, 1939, and The Adventures of Robin Hood, 1938. Joan, who took the stage name Fontaine to establish her own identity, found success in films like Rebecca, 1940, and Suspicion, 1941. The documented breaking point came at the 1942 Academy Awards. Joan Fontaine won Best Actress for Suspicion, while her sister Olivia was also nominated for Hold Back the Dawn. According to multiple historical accounts, when Joan went to congratulate her sister backstage, Olivia turned away and refused to acknowledge her. Both sisters later gave interviews addressing the estrangement, though their accounts differed on specific details. Fontaine suggested the rivalry stemmed from childhood competition for their mother's attention, exacerbated by both pursuing acting careers. De Havilland was more reserved in her public comments, but acknowledged the estrangement existed. Historical records show they rarely spoke after the 1940s. When their mother, Lillian Fontaine, died in 1975, they attended the funeral, though reportedly did not speak to each other. The pattern continued throughout their lives. What makes this story historically significant is how it reveals the intense pressures of Hollywood competition, particularly for women. Both sisters were talented actresses, but the industry's tendency to compare and pit women against each other contributed to their personal difficulties. De Havilland made history in another way. She successfully sued Warner Brothers in 1943 to limit the power of studio contracts, resulting in the de Havilland Law that protected actors from unfair contract extensions. This legal victory changed Hollywood's power structure and gave performers more control over their careers. Joan Fontaine died in 2013 at age 96. Olivia de Havilland lived to 104, passing away in 2020. According to reports, they had not reconciled, making theirs one of the longest documented estrangements in Hollywood history. Their story reminds us that even those who achieved tremendous success faced personal challenges, and that family dynamics can be complicated regardless of fame or achievement. Number 3. Montgomery Clift, the accident that changed everything. Montgomery Clift was one of the most talented and sensitive actors of his generation. His performances in A Place in the Sun, 1951, From Here to Eternity, 1953, and The Heiress, 1949, showcased a vulnerability and emotional depth that influenced a generation of actors, including Marlon Brando and James Dean. Born in 1920, Clift was known for his methodical approach to acting, his striking looks, and his ability to convey complex emotions. He was one of Hollywood's most sought-after leading men in the early 1950s. Then, on May 12, 1956, an event occurred that would alter the course of his life and career. Clift was leaving a dinner party at Elizabeth Taylor's home when he lost control of his car and crashed into a telephone pole. The accident left him with severe facial injuries, a broken nose, shattered jaw, and extensive lacerations. According to documented accounts, Elizabeth Taylor, who witnessed the accident, rushed to the scene and may have saved his life by reaching into his throat to clear his airway. She stayed with him until help arrived, and the two remained close friends for the rest of his life. The physical reconstruction surgeries were partially successful, but Clift's face was permanently changed. More significantly, the accident left him with chronic pain that required ongoing medication management. Despite these challenges, Clift continued working. His post-accident performances in Raintree County, 1957, The Young Lions, 1958, and Judgment at Nuremberg, 1961, for which he received his 4th Oscar nomination, demonstrated that his talent remained intact. However, biographers note that the accident marked a turning point. Clift struggled with the physical pain and with adjusting to his changed appearance in an industry that prized physical beauty. His reliance on pain medication increased, and he became increasingly isolated. Historical accounts also document that Clift was gay during an era when this could end a career. According to biographers, he experienced internal conflict about his identity throughout his life, and the accident added another layer of complexity to his personal struggles. Patricia Bosworth's authoritative biography, Montgomery Clift, provides detailed documentation of his life. Based on interviews with those who knew him and extensive archival research, Clift continued working until shortly before his death in 1966 at age 45. The official cause was a heart attack, though his health had been declining for years. His legacy extends beyond his personal struggles. Montgomery Clift pioneered a naturalistic acting style that influenced the entire industry. Directors like Elia Kazan and Fred Zinnemann praised his commitment to authentic emotional expression. His story illustrates how a single event can alter a life's trajectory and how talent and dedication can persist even through tremendous personal challenges. Tierney was one of Hollywood's most beautiful actresses, known for her striking features and her performances in films like Laura, 1944, Leave Her to Heaven, 1945, and The Ghost and Mrs. Muir, 1947. Born in 1920 to a wealthy family, Tierney seemed to have everything: beauty, talent, family support, and Hollywood success. But her life story reveals the devastating impact of tragedy and the limited understanding of mental health in the 1940s and 1950s. In 1943, during her pregnancy with her first daughter, Tierney contracted rubella, German measles. She didn't know she was infected and continued working. Her daughter Daria was born prematurely with severe disabilities, including deafness, cataracts, and intellectual impairment, all caused by congenital rubella syndrome. The tragedy deepened when Tierney later learned how she'd contracted the illness. According to her autobiography Self-Portrait, she met a woman at a party who mentioned she'd broken quarantine while sick with rubella to meet Tierney at a stage door appearance months earlier. While this account has been debated by historians, Tierney believed it to be true, and the emotional impact was devastating. Tierney experienced what would now be recognized as severe depression and post-traumatic stress. In the 1950s, mental health treatment was rudimentary and often harmful. She underwent electroconvulsive therapy, ECT, which was standard treatment at the time but is now understood to have had significant side effects. Her struggles affected her career, and she took several breaks from Hollywood. Her 1958 marriage to oil baron Howard Lee provided stability, and she gradually recovered. What makes Tierney's story important is her decision to speak publicly about her mental health struggles. In her 1979 autobiography and subsequent interviews, she discussed her experiences with depression and treatment openly at a time when mental health remained highly stigmatized. Her advocacy helped reduce stigma and encouraged others to seek help. The rubella vaccine, developed in 1969, has since virtually eliminated congenital rubella syndrome in vaccinated populations, a medical achievement that came too late for Tierney's daughter, but has saved countless children from similar fates. Tierney continued acting into the 1960s, including a memorable role in Advise and Consent, 1962. She died in 1991 at age 70, having transformed personal tragedy into advocacy that helped others. Her legacy includes not only her memorable film performances, but also her contribution to destigmatizing mental health challenges.